welcome to the University of Cincinnati's virtual showcase. I'm Joe Chang, the chair of the Neurosurgery program here at the University of Cincinnati. I want to welcome you to take a look at our program as you consider your residency options, and hope you consider the University of Cincinnati as you look into your neurosurgical career. And with that, I'll introduce our program director, Dr. Jonathan Forbes.
We're very excited today to show off our residency program. And in brief, over the next few minutes, we're going to show you a number of videos detailing the program and the university and the hospital system and the city of Cincinnati. We're also going to review the residency rotation schedule and provide a programmatic overview as well as a detailed description of the educational amenities that we have here in addition to the historical legacy here at the University of Cincinnati. We're excited that you tuned in and excited to show you more.
Matching into a neurosurgery program has never been easy. And now your class is being asked to do something that no class before it has ever had to do: match virtually. We wish that we could welcome you here, shake your hand, show you around our beautiful facilities. And while we know we'll never be able to do it justice, we want to try to show you what it would have been like had you had a chance to visit the University of Cincinnati.
By not being able to come here on site, what the medical students will miss is really that personal interaction. We bring in people that are really team players, that you don't have a lot of disruptive people with a lot of arrogant personalities that are just out to make a hostile environment for education and work.
I don't know how to exactly portray the at-home, friendly family feeling that I think people get when they come here.
We would have taken you on a tour, showing you everything from our brand new award-winning Gardner Neuroscience Institute to teaching you about our proud past and showing you around the birthplace of revolutionary inventions and innovations.
Cincinnati is one of the oldest surgical training programs in the nation. This is an institution where we stand on the giants who came before us.
You would have met our attendings, had a chance to tell them about yourself, and ask them questions about the department.
They're very approachable, they're very friendly. We are a non-threatening, friendly group.
Every one of our faculty that we bring into our environment isn't here just to build a busy clinical practice using residents as facilitators in their practice, as much as they're here to leave a legacy to kind of improve the field and really help train a future generation.
We are all in this because we're very passionate about instruction of residents.
You would have had a night out, getting to know the residents. And while no one has ever invited us, we've heard it's a good time.
Very fortunate here. We have outstanding neurosurgical residents. They're outstanding human beings. They're outstanding clinicians. They're outstanding surgeons.
Our group of residents, I couldn't be more proud of who they are and what they persevere to do. A few key words come to mind: trustworthy, diligent, dependable, and capable.
We have a group that gets along very well. They are a support system for one another. They have fun on the weekends together. They laugh when they can. I don't think you find that with every residency program.
The next day, you would have boarded a bus to go on a 2-hour tour of the city with the residents. Spoiler alert, it's probably cooler than you think.
It's a little big town, so we have all the big town things, but it's small enough, it's easy to get around here, the traffic's not terrible, and the cost of living's great.
When I think of a great place to train, I think of a city that has all the modern amenities that you want. You want great restaurants, you want museums, you want sporting events, but I also think it's a place that's very easy to train. The cost of living here is very reasonable. It's very easy to find a nice place close to the hospital. You're not dealing with horrible rush hour traffic. It's easy to get home from work. It's easy to raise a family here. So I really can't say enough great things about the city.
You would have met Dr. Chang, our department chair, and heard about the way he has revolutionized our program since he arrived 3 years ago.
He's taken this program from 0 to 100%.
We now have 11 adult neurosurgeons with 5 pediatric neurosurgeons, along with a handful of volunteer neurosurgeons, for our residency training experience, and that just kind of highlights the amount of growth, clinical growth that you're seeing. We've hired 4 PhDs into our program. for research alone, along with expanding the Goodyear Lab and other opportunities.
I think he's somebody who just has leadership abilities off the charts. And I think when you look at the trajectory of the department, it's clearly on the rise.
While you didn't get any chili, we hope you enjoyed your free trip. We just wish you would have had a chance to see if you would have fit into what we call our Cincinnati culture.
It's so important to the success of the residents that they are able to support each other and work with one another.
They want each other to succeed. They want each other to be the best that they can. They want themselves, they want the very best out of themselves. And I think when you look at our department, that's the mentality that we have. Rising tide lifts all boats.
Well, what a great video showcasing what our residents experience here with the University of Cincinnati. Again, we wish you could have been here to kind of experience this yourselves. And with that, I'd like to introduce Dr. Forbes to go over some of the educational resources and the curriculum that you would expect as a resident.
In the forthcoming presentation, we'll be talking about the past, present, and future of neurosurgical education at the University of Cincinnati. Our vision is to be a national and international destination for high-quality, comprehensive neurosurgical care and education. We have a historical legacy in surgical training and innovation. We have world-class educational amenities. We have a fantastic trauma experience. We are the only academic medical center and level 1 trauma center in the Cincinnati metropolitan region. Finally, we have a thorough commitment to excellence in patient outcomes, resident education, and research. The surgical training program at the University of Cincinnati can be traced back to Dr. George Huer. In 1921, Dr. Huer became the head of general surgery at the University of Cincinnati. At this time, he introduced the Halsted method for surgical training and was actually one of the early pioneers of the frontotemporal craniotomy, despite being predominantly a general surgeon. The University of Cincinnati became the third center in the United States to train general surgery residents. In 1937, the Division of Neurosurgery at the University of Cincinnati was established with Dr. Joseph Evans as the first division chief. In 1948, the University of Cincinnati Neurosurgery Residency Program was established. In 1954, Dr. Robert McLaurin took over as the second division chief. In 1983, Dr. John Tu was named full professor and chief of the division. In 1984, the University of Cincinnati Department of Neurosurgery was formally established. Since that time, there have been 3 chairmen of the department: Dr. Raj Narayan, who took over in 2002, Dr. Mario Zuccarello, who took over in 2009, and Dr. Joseph Chang, who took over in 2017 and is our current chairman. It is a great source of pride that we have 3 former and current chairmen who remain active in the department to this day. We have a number of outstanding educational amenities at the University of Cincinnati. These include the Goodyear Microsurgical Laboratory, where residents and medical students are able to attend targeted cadaveric prosections describing a variety of surgical techniques. Additionally, there is the Spinal Bioinformatics Lab. This is a lab dedicated solely to clinical outcomes research in spinal surgery. Finally, we have our Gardner Neuroscience Institute. This is a brand new facility that has access to cutting-edge technology that helps to introduce our residents and fellows to outpatient care. In the previous slide, we had touched briefly on the Goodyear Microsurgical Laboratory. This is a lab with a rich historical legacy, a number of classification systems, including the classification system most commonly used for anatomic description of the internal carotid artery, were developed in this lab. Here we have rotating international research fellows who help support the residents in educational endeavors. We also have incredible opportunities for education for our residents and medical students. The Goodyear Lab annually is the site of a number of national courses, many of which are available to our residents. At the University of Cincinnati, our residents are exposed to an outstanding trauma experience. We are the only academic medical center and level 1 trauma center in the Cincinnati metropolitan region. Additionally, we are a major clinical and research center for the neurosurgical care of trauma patients. Our residents rotate at 4 facilities. These include UC Maine, UC Westchester, the Cincinnati Children's Hospital, as well as the Christ Hospital. This is an example resident rotation schedule for the 2021 academic year. Our second-year residents spend the year at UC Maine. Our third-year residents alternate between Christ Hospital and Cincinnati Children's. Our fourth-year residents are provided with elective research time. Our fifth and sixth-year residents spend a significant percentage of their time here at UC Maine. Our seventh-year residents are free to pursue an enfolded fellowship in the subspecialty of their choosing. Neurosurgeons affiliated with our department performed greater than 4,000 procedures over the previous academic year. The image to the right is the case log obtained from our graduating chief resident. You can see that still with 9 months left to go in his chief resident year, he's covered 1,759 procedures, lead and senior resident. The national average at graduation is 1,217. When you talk with our residents at the University of Cincinnati, it is very clear that they are provided with a robust operative experience that begins very early on. We feel that this is one of the great strengths of our department and institution. Dr. George Yang, one of our fifth-year residents, describes the responsibilities as well as the educational opportunities provided during each year of the neurosurgery residency.
I was actually probably starting to go to the operating room by the time I was an intern. That would mostly be during my downtime. I was trying to find some time to go to the operating room, hang out with the chief residents and pick up some essentially basics from them. And second year, we spend most of the time on the floor, taking care of patients and running the service, seeing consults. But even then, we were able to alternate months between me and my co-resident to go to the operating room. So during our third year, we typically spend more time over at the pediatrics hospital, Cincinnati Children's Hospital. There we'll rotate with the pediatric neurosurgeons on staff. And we'll also start to become more senior over at the University Hospital, becoming more independent and working one-on-one with our attendings. And as we progress through the years, you gain more and more operative autonomy, and you work with more senior faculty and begin to do more complex cases up until your chief year, where you're typically leading everything yourself in addition to teaching a junior resident or working with pretty much the most senior faculty that we have.
In summary, the University of Cincinnati Department of Neurosurgery has a rich historical legacy. We believe the educational experience we provide our residents is second to none. We are looking for the best and the brightest, and thank you for your attention today.
I'm Darren. I'm one of the PGY4 residents here at UC. I spent a month here and did a sub-I here and really fell in love with the city and the program.
My name is George Yang. I'm one of the PGY5s. What I saw when I came here was that there was a very tight-knit group of residents that were all technically very capable.
That was one of the major deciding factors, was being with all the residents. Because I think they all have such unique personalities, and they were all people, they were genuinely interested in me. They genuinely wanted to talk to me, and you could tell that.
I'm Justin Gibson. I'm one of the PGY4 residents here at the University of Cincinnati. So the residents here have always been, good at protecting each other, hanging out with each other.
It really feels like a family. I know it sounds like cliche, but it actually does feel that way.
This program really honed in on the fact that you have to have each other's back, not just faculty having, supporting faculty, not just residents supporting residents, but faculty supporting residents, residents supporting faculty, and just really having a great overall family culture.
Everyone gets along so well that it makes life easier, which, life as a neurosurgery resident is already difficult enough. You don't need one more thing to add on to that.
I chose Cincinnati because I wanted a program with excellent clinical training, research opportunities, as well as a wonderful cohort of residents.
The reason I originally picked Cincinnati, because I rotated here as a medical student, was first and foremost the residents that I saw, the attendings that I saw graduate from this program were phenomenal surgeons.
The senior faculty here are so open to questions and so open to teaching, and that really is their priority. Like, they can't stress it enough to us that education is the reason why they're here.
I've learned more than I ever imagined I could in the first 2 years of my residency. The operative experience here starts early, it's often.
We have a lot of opportunities, with assigned rotations to get a lot of exposure to different cases early on.
There is a strong focus on operating and getting into the operating room and autonomy.
Because of that, you kind of get an idea early on, what kind of cases you gravitate toward.
I would argue there's probably not a better program at clinical training, exposure to sick patients, resident autonomy, and making the decisions that affect patients on a daily basis than Cincinnati.
Dr. Chang, our chairman, has done an incredible job of recruiting people from all the various subspecialties and in an impressively short time.
That was another reason in choosing Cincinnati, is that I really believed in Dr. Chang as a leader. When I'd seen what he had built in just a short amount of time, and I really believed in what he was doing.
He's brought on faculty that certainly care a lot about our education and will spend the time to teach us and also to help us with our academic interests, our administrative interests.
This is a great place. We're sad you can't come visit yourself right now, but I'm obviously biased. I'm from here, but the program's awesome. You're going to be a good surgeon if you spend time here.
If I could do it all over again, I would, pick Cincinnati.
I think leaving this program, you will have every opportunity to do what you want and be the surgeon that you want to be.
We treat it like a family, and so anyone who comes here is going to be welcome just like any other family member.
So we hope that this video has given you a better perspective of really what we feel like is very special about our residency program here at the University of Cincinnati. And so with that, I'll turn things over to Dr. Chang.
I'm going to go over some slides going over some of our professional and, in a sense, clinical and research opportunities that you can expect here at our program within the University of Cincinnati. As professor and chair of the Department of Neurosurgery here at the University of Cincinnati, I'm really proud of our program and really what it offers for neurosurgical education and training the future of our field. Our residents are really the heart and soul of our academic program. And I think one of the things we wanted to do was to show you what kind of opportunities you would have for clinical research and educational resources if you were to match here with us at the University of Cincinnati. We take our tripartite mission seriously. We don't want just to show you how to do neurosurgery, but really how to do it in a way that improves the care of our patients with proven outcomes. We also want to focus on aspects of adult education. How do we get you to not only understand how to replicate what we do in the OR, but really how to understand the principles, the thought process, and addressing the specific neurosurgical pathology that you'll see in the future in your career. We also want to encourage you to think about research and really how to contribute to our field and continue to improve what we do for our patients and how do we improve what we do in neurosurgery. Kind of high-level summary for the last academic year shows that we have over 1,800 adult neurosurgical operations. This does not include our pediatric surgeries or our endovascular procedures. We have over $9.4 million of grant funding for our research alone, along with $2.6 million in new donations, which really contribute to our department as we continue to foster our academic mission of your education, research, and really improving clinical care. With this, we're able to have a number of publications, both from our faculty and residents, along with a number of awards that were received by both our faculty and residents. This has led to over 62 faculty presentations in the last academic year, along with 5 resident presentations, in addition to a number of students who normally would be rotating with us, except for this current COVID-19 pandemic, which has put that on hold. This is just a short list of resident publications that have been put out over the last academic year. It really just highlights the opportunities for our residents in academics and with research and education. With this, there's a number of awards, not only those locally, but also nationally, such as winning the SANS Challenge, or coming in second place rather, which we're really quite proud of. One of the things about our clinical program is that we're not growing just for the sake of growing our clinical program and then dovetailing in the educational pieces to it, but it's the other way around. We really focus on the foundations of what do we need to provide as far as breadth of education, breadth of services for our residency training, and then grow our faculty and clinical programs in order to really meet this need. That is one of the reasons why our draw is pretty diverse in this region. Fortunately, we are also the only academic medical center. So, for example, for level 1 trauma, comprehensive stroke center in the region. So we do have quite a draw within the tri-state area of Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. But in addition to that, our complex care as an academic medical center continues to draw patients from all over the country as well, as far away as Colorado, Florida, Michigan, and Connecticut. This past year alone, we've increased our neurosurgical faculty by 4 new members, 3 clinical and 1 research, with people like Dr. Veer Janappa, who had his fellowship with me at Yale and then subsequently practiced in Long Island at Northwell for a number of years before deciding to join us here at the University of Cincinnati. Dr. J.P. Sheehy, who will be adding to our functional program, having completed his fellowship with Dr. Joseph Niemat at the University of Louisville in Kentucky, and then finishing his residency at Barrow Neurologic Institute, and then welcoming back Dr. Norberto Andaluz, who was with the Mayfield Clinic for a number of years before departing for a few years, and now is rejoining us, bringing in his skull-based expertise. In addition, we have a new PhD, Dr. Ishita Basu, who comes to us from MGH and will be helping us develop modeling programs for things like epilepsy and other brain disorders. We also have an interesting program which is unique to the University of Cincinnati. That is our affiliation with our military neurosurgeons with our C-STARS program. We have instructors such as Dr. Berg, who's been out in practice since 2013 within his commitment at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, along with Dr. Will Robbins, who's been out for 3 years and used to be a fellow at the Council of State Neurosurgical Societies as well. They bring in their own set of expertise and experiences and will be helping us as we continue to grow our clinical footprint. Overall, we have over 32 clinical faculty that our residents have the opportunity to work with specialty expertise in a number of areas of neurosurgery, such as functional, general neurosurgery, neurovascular, neuro-oncology, skull-based, complex spine, trauma and critical care, pediatrics, along with peripheral nerve. We also have a number of research faculty, 5 within the Department of Neurosurgery specifically, including a biostatistician, along with a dedicated PhD, Dr. Hilary Perez, who leads our clinical research trials. We also have a number of collaborating PhDs across a number of departments, such as cancer biology, Cincinnati Children's, orthopedics, and engineering. We also have affiliation with the Mount St. Joseph's PA program, and we've started a PA internship program specifically in neurosurgery with our first PA intern in neurosurgery this year with Brendan Wilson. We also have a number of research grants awarded, including a number of NIH and other governmental and national awards, such as KO8 grants as seen by Dr. Nguyen and others. We also have a number of grant applications underway to continue the pipeline of future grant funding and research support as we continue to grow our academic program. And this just led to a number of publications that you can see here. I'm also proud that with all this research, we also have a number of breakthroughs. And this is just an example with Dr. Jesse Scotch's lab, who's one of our pediatric neurosurgeons, really looking at the mapping of action potentials with calcium imaging and spread depolarizations. One of the things we're well known for here at the University of Cincinnati is our work in spread depolarizations with Dr. Jed Hardings, one of the leaders in the field in this area. As I noted before with Dr. Hilary Perez, who leads our clinical trials program, we have a number of clinical trials ongoing and also underway, and things that as a resident you have an opportunity to participate in as well. Just kind of highlight some of the multi-center clinical trials that we are part of and also leading, such as TRACK TBI, COSBIT for spread depolarizations, Astral, along with a number of upcoming clinical trials such as REACT and CASE. There's also a number of other industry-sponsored trials that allow us access to not only new technology, but really helping collaborate and pushing the field forward as we look at ways of improving our patient outcomes. One of the things that we also have is a department umbrella protocol, looking at things like outcomes analysis and really registry work. We collect our registry data within our electronic medical record system, and this umbrella protocol allows those within the department to really expedite the ability to do retrospective and prospective reviews, using the registry data that we have for their specific outcomes questions and patient analysis. We're also in the process of building out a data science and health informatics research lab next to our offices on the 5th floor. And this will be an amazing, basically technological showcase with really a lot of resources put in, not only with large databases, which will be shared and accessible by residents and students alike, along with the personnel there in order to help facilitate and organize the ability to get this data. Our research network continues to grow. So from a neurosurgery clinical research standpoint, we partner with a number of other departments within neurology, emergency medicine, and the Cancer Institute, along with other areas within the hospital, such as the ICU, pharmacy, and really the Office of Clinical Research, as you can see here. As I noted before, our philanthropy continues to be very strong with $2.6 million of new funding this past year, not only supporting our direction in new technologies and innovations, but also to help support our cancer initiatives and brain tumor research. Our clinical sites were discussed by Dr. Forbes earlier, but I just want to say that we're continuing to look at expansion. We really are doing this, again, not to grow for the sake of growth, but look at how do we draw patients in. So for example, we know the incidence of spine disorders are about 5 to 20 per 100,000 or per 1,000 patients for things like degenerative disc disease, but things like acoustic neuromas needs to draw about a much larger area than that because the incidence is about 1 to 100,000. So as we look at our overall footprint, it's important to look at the breadth of services that we provide, the footprint that we need in order to ensure that we have the clinical resources appropriate for your resident education. Also, we're very strong in building out our multidisciplinary programs, such as our mobile stroke unit that helps augment our comprehensive stroke center, along with building out a number of primary stroke centers as we continue to look at how do we expand this clinical resource and education. It's also one of the reasons we have now a dedicated endovascular rotation within the residency curriculum, because I think this is one of the things that you'll have to learn to do in the future, as a resident. We also have a number of multidisciplinary approaches, such as our back, neck, and spine center, just because surgery is not the only way to treat people with spinal disorders, along with our brain tumor and skull-based tumor center that also looks at innovative ways of addressing this surgically, such as with endoscopic and radiosurgery. We also have an epilepsy center that we're continuing to build out, and really things within functional and epilepsy are some of the most exciting things that we see within our field moving forth. After having lived all over the country, I think the quality of life within the city of Cincinnati is spectacular and really unparalleled. John, you haven't really grown up in this area. What do you think?
So I think Cincinnati really is a fantastic place. It's a great place to train and to live and to work. It's a very beautiful city that has a very nice park scene, and it's very easy to get around. I think in terms of the ideal place that I would choose to train, I would choose a city like this, really where the cost of living is going to be very low, and really just a place where you're going to be able to get a robust operative experience, and an easy place to live and to work and to raise a family if you have a family.
What does life look like in the Cincinnati region? Well, with the cost of living, pretty much any way you want it to. Live by a river, a park, a forest, a castle, a spaceship, on bluegrass, or in the urban core. And fill your days and nights with farmers markets, rooftops, parks, bike trails, festivals, and a world-class art scene. Fall in love with some of our favorite things like craft bourbon, craft beer, chili on spaghetti, and Oprah's favorite ice cream. Not to mention all of our incredible views. Work at some of the world's largest headquarters, cool startups, or build your own thing. We're a big city with a small town feel. Just a cup of coffee away from meeting your next whoever. As you imagine what's next for you, try imagining it here. The place where dreamers who dream manifest into doers that do. This is life in the Cincinnati region. A beautiful collision of culture and access to everything and everyone you need to build the life that you want.
We just want to thank you again for taking the time to tune in and to learn more about our city and our university and our training program.
If you have any questions about our program or anything you want more clarity on, please feel free to contact myself, Dr. Forbes, or Penny Schwab, our program coordinator. We'd like to kind of close out this virtual showcase with one last video about the program here at the University of Cincinnati and what it really means to be a neurosurgical resident within our program as you look forward to really an exciting career in neurosurgery, and one that obviously I'm biased in, that I think is one of the most amazing things that we can do. Thank you very much.